And so the being aspect refers to me, the spirit, being, my soul, my consciousness. Referencing back to the nature of reality, given that only 5% of our entire reality is normal matter, it goes to show that my human parts, my meat sack parts, is only 5% of who I truly am. The other 95% of me is consciousness. So when I think about a human being, for example, I would like to use the metaphor of a computer. Ironic, isn't it? Anyways, I choose to see that a human being, the conscious parts of a human being, the parts in which you're listening to me right now and it's talking to you, I am the user, right? And so I am the user of my body. And I would like to make a distinction though, because if consciousness is the user and the body is the hardware, I would say that the mind is the software. Now, this took me a long time to realize because not only did I think of myself as a super logical, I used to draw a lot of my identity from my mind. I have come to learn isn't the true version of who I am. What I am is something separate from my mind. I would choose to see my mind as the software that allows me to interface or use the body, because the conscious user, me as a spiritual being, have to have an interface to interact with physical reality. And I think that the mind is that. The mind allows me to organize, plan. I choose to see the human being as the body being the hardware, like the physical computer part, the chips, the sensors. It is in the body that you have your sensors, such as your eyes, your skin to tell you the temperature, your ears to tell you about audio, and all the other components that make the physical parts of a human being. I see those as the hardware. Now, the mind is something that we most dwell in a lot of the time. But I choose to see it as the mind is a software. It's a software that runs on top of the body. I choose to see it as the mind is part of the software that runs inside the brain. Now, it's important for me to break these things down because when we're coming to build an entirely new being, these informations are going to be really useful. So once we have the sensors and the hardware, we'll move on to the software that will be able to make sense of this data, because at the end of the day, your eyes give you visual data, your ears receive auditory data, you're able to produce even more sounds with your mouth. That's how I'm doing this. And so my mind allows me to interact with the hardware aspects of my body. The other way I look at it is that the mind holds the drivers that allow your consciousness to be able to use the body that you live in. And so, have you ever used the computer once and you plugged in like a new phone into it or a new like microphone? You'd have to download the necessary drivers for you to be able to use that microphone, that webcam, or that phone on your computer. So I see the mind as the interface that allows us to use our body. In the same way Windows allows me to use a computer